Hey everyone, Django here. So today we're looking at the La-5. I'm gonna give you a little bit of history. I'll show you two matches and we'll look at what this plane is good at, where it does best and how I do in the match. I'll see you in the match. Hey guys, so here we are in the match. Now let me start with a little bit of history on this plane. La-5's La-5 was a development and refinement of the La-3 and was one of the Soviet's most capable types of warplanes. Both the La-1 and the La-3 were promising aircraft but severely underpowered. The engine just wasn't good enough. And the La-3 had been lightened and they tried to fit in better engines, but nevertheless it was not enough. Lack of power remained a significant problem. Now in early 1942, two of the La-1 and La-3 designers, Semyon La-5 and Vladimir Gorbunov, attempted to correct this deficiency by experimentally fitting a La-3 with the more powerful shVAK ASH82 radial engine, which boosted 1700 horsepower at maximum. Since the La-3 was powered by an inline engine though, they of course had to redesign the entire nose section. By now the shortcomings of the La-3 had caused La-5 to fall out of favor with Joseph Stalin, and factories assigned to the La-3 production had been turned over to build Yak 1s and 7s. La-5 though, dedicated as he was, worked on the changes of the La-3 in a hut by an airfield throughout the winter of 1941 and 1942, all completely unofficial. When the prototype took flight in March 1942, the result was surprisingly pleasing. The fighter finally had a power plant to allow it to perform as well in the air as it had been supposed to on paper. After flying it, Air Force test pilot declared it superior to the Yak 7, and intense flight tests began in April 1942. By July, Stalin ordered maximum production of the aircraft and the conversion of any incomplete La-3 airframes to the new configuration, now simply known as the La-5. Prototype was put in 2 months production almost immediately after this. While still inferior to the best German fighters, the La-5 proved to be every bit their match closer to the ground. With most of the air combat over Eastern Europe taking place at an altitude under 5,000 meters, the La-5 is very much in its element now. This plane was very good at the maximum of its performance capabilities below 3,000 meters. It had a good maneuverability in the vertical and the horizontal, and it did very well in that way. It had most of its engine power there as well. It had good energy retention and it had 2 powerful cannons. Now it had low ammunition count, that was a bit of a problem, and it had control stiffening when they were in a dive, so that also wasn't too good. The problem started for the La-5 with the introduction of the G, which was pretty much at the same time it was introduced, so it could fight the counterpart which had been flying so far, the Bf-109F models. It was pretty much an equal to that plane, but at that moment when it was introduced, the Gs were already being introduced as well, and the Focke-Wulf 190 also posed problems for this plane in reality. Now when you look at the game, in the game this plane has a little bit of a lower battle rating, thus it faces the F models more often and the earlier Focke-Wulf models which it can fight in the game. The G models have a much higher battle rating than this plane of the Bf-109, so it doesn't face the opponents it historically faced too often. Thus in the game it makes this plane a very good plane, which can deal with any plane it faces at its battle rating, as you can see in this match. Now, this particular match I was flying, I wasn't doing too hot. I believe this was the first match I played in a day that I had been working, and my aim was off in the beginning, as you have been seeing so far. I did shoot down a plane, but I was a little bit cranky at the moment, and I got even more crankier when you see my shooting at this Bf-109 when he turns out of his climb and I get to get some shots at him. Now he disappears off my radar here, But of course I can see his little smoke trail there. Or condensed trail. And he's coming out here. Into range. Should have had him here by all rights. But I just totally mess up my shots. And I turn on his tail. See if I can get him. Getting more and more frustrated here. So I remember cursing this guy into oblivion, but I am not shooting him into oblivion yet. And I complete belt wasted again. With the risk of other guys getting him, of course, you know, getting the assist. But fortunately this B-25 misses his shots here, and the guy went up, and I can get an easy shot here. But my god, that was frustrating. I was not sitting happily behind the keyboard at this moment, but oh well, you know, small things in our life, right? So we have 3 kills under our belts. The game is still very much, either side can still win. It's very much open, and we're flying into a furball here. But we are in a good position. We have altitude. We're at 3000 meters. This is the perfect altitude for this plane. Even in game. And we're taking a little bit more altitude. Always good to start a little bit up. I mean, the control stiffening still here, which is suffered in reality, but it's not as severe as it was in reality. So you can definitely dive with this plane. Now we are looking here what our options are. I'd love to shoot that gay fool shy again, but looking down, he seems to be extending from me, so that would be a shame and a waste of my time. I'm looking around, considering this bomber here, but I decide to dive down on this whole train of enemies below me. Now these 2 I'm diving on are the last in a train. The next one is 5 kilometers away, so decide to dive here, and then I can dive into a whole group of enemies. Diving on the I-185 here. He's not seeing me, he's not doing anything. Flight turn here. We get an easy kill there. I'm going so fast on these planes are just turning around, so I can't make it a double or triple kill here. Grabbing back some altitude while we're at it. Now this plane shines as an energy fighter. You don't have to work it as a boom and zoomer in its ultimate form. You can keep the zooms a little shorter, as you don't want to go over 3000 meters too many times anyway. You can fight with it in game above 3000, of course, but it really does best below 3000. Here we go for an air cobra. Easy shot. And going up again. Zooming out. Checking what's above me. Air cobra. Oh, here we get my feeling of realism again that I always want to do. I cool my engine a little bit. One of my tics. I'm a bit crazy sometimes, you know. But it keeps me feeling like I'm flying a little bit realistically. You know, I just can't sit there with a heated engine and keep going all the time. In extreme emergencies I do it, but when I have the opportunity to cool, I will do that. It just gives me a more... I don't know. It's just for my own feeling. Now here we go in I-16. He's going in a very straight line. He does feel the hits there, but too late. Finish him off for my 6th kill. BF-109 above me, but I decide to just keep an eye on him. Focus on this enemy in front of me. Miss my shots here on the Thunderbolt. IL-2 coming into view next. Finish that off. Turn for the Thunderbolt. But I see the Thunderbolt had been extending, so he's a kilometer and a half away. He's going for the LA-7 there on the ground though. He misses his shots, but I decide to go for the 129, the H-129. and destroy him there, shooting off his, what was it, left or right wing. Now the P-47 had been extending this way and seems to be turning my way. That would be a good next target. Showing his whole profile here, not seeing me. That definitely situational awareness, guys. He should have seen me coming. He should have been using the time while he was extending from that run on the La-5 on the airfield. He should have used that moment to look around, and then he would have spotted me. And maybe he would have continued extending then. Going into a head-on, but I decided to not take the head-on with the La-5F there. And decide to continue. This MiG-3 come by here. Shoot him on with smoking, but I see this Ju-87 here. Decide to shoot him down because we cannot afford to lose the airfield right now. Also the reason why I completely focus on this SB2M here. Shoot him on fire, critical, destroyed. With a MiG-3 here, trying to get to my ally there. Keep my ally alive there. And immediately Catalina there presents itself. There was a good sequence there. I see the 109 coming in there, so I make evasive maneuvers. Dodge him. It continues on to that Corsair over there. And I decide to again not take the head-on with this La-5F. Now he decides to not keep turning with me and thus giving himself an easy target for me. Crit him there. Another good hit in there. I continue to pepper him until he crashes into the ground, giving me my 14th kill. Here's this guy in another attacker and shoot him down again. Got the 109 on my tail, but would have started maneuvering, but that was the end of the game. It's the first game in the pocket, a win with 15 kills, no deaths. That was a good match after all, after that very rusty beginning. But I get final blow and balancer. Let's jump into the next match. Hey guys, so here we are in the second match. Now we are trying to get some altitude here. 3000 meters here. Perfect altitude for this plane again. I'm looking to extend it to about 4000. You know, the performance of this plane really starts to slow down and starts to get worse above 5000 meters, but still very much functional between 3000 and 5000. But the 3000 is the perfect altitude. I see a lot of bombers coming in here, and well, I'd like to extend this match a little bit, so I do want to get a few bombers out of the equation here. We choose this Wellington as our first target, and he goes very steadily, so that's a very easy shot. Now we go back for altitude a little bit. We see two fighters coming here. We decide to loop over. Now, let's see, where are all these bombers going? And here we have one diving, Key 49. And let's see if I can get him. I usually zoom in here, but this guy is so wildly throwing his mouse over the desk that I cannot get a decent shot. This is not natural bomber behavior, but it damn well is effective when you're straight behind it. And I was quickly noticing that really this throwing away, I mean, I've heard it before that people do this. I sometimes do it myself as well if I'm really in a pickle and I don't know what to do anymore. But it can be very annoying as the guy who's behind it. So what do you need to do? And you need to get off the tail, because when you're on the tail this is very difficult to hit and to deal with. What you want to do is you want to get above it, then dive down, and you have his whole profile available for you. And I figured that out here, and so I start trying to do that. Because when I come from straightly above, the whole up and down movement doesn't matter shit, like you see here. And I shoot him down easily, because up and down doesn't matter, he's still moving forward and I can still aim at his profile then. Oh, he did give me much more trouble than this one and the first bomber I shot down. So in that sense he is doing good, right? Because he giving me a hard time and he keeps me from other targets. But easily countered if you make sure that you get above him and get full view of his profile. Yeah, so 3 bombers down. Now we're starting to climb again a little bit. It is Yak 1. He's already got a few of my allies there, but you know, you never know what kind of allies they are. Okay, good pilots or not. So I decide to keep an eye on it and decide to dive here on it. But one of my allies does get it, and I immediately go over in a loop, get back some altitude and start looking around again. Analyze situation. Get my, you know, sometimes I keep a sort of a record in my head where everybody is. That only stays true for a few seconds though, of course, so you need to keep checking. And update that situation report that's in your head. Got a Spitfire BF-109 on my right there and a bomber straight below me. Decide to go for the BF-109 first. Don't want to be shot by him when I go for the bomber. Take him out of the equation here. Now where is that bomber? Looking for him. But I get rudely awakened from my search by a Focke-Wulf 190. But he gets killed while I make a horizontal, or sorry, a vertical corkscrew. And I kill the Spitfire that flew in while I was evading. Several targets here coming in. Spitfire Mark 2B, good plane. Want to get him out of the sky as soon as possible. Yeah, there he goes. Now an early version BF-109 there for my second target, and an A-36 here as a third target coming in. Now that was a perfect sequence. People just flying into your view there, you know, into your guns. Sometimes you have that, those are nice moments. Got a triple kill there. And really I didn't really have to sweat for it. That was just perfect sequence. Enjoy it when it comes, right? Because it doesn't always happen. Now I see this bomber pilot coming in again. And look at him go. It's the Spitfire who is after him. Of course he made one of his engine smoke, but it's so annoying when you're behind a guy doing that. And he did get his bombs off, because our base exploded. And he's still alive and he's keeping 2 fighters busy here, so yeah, I can't say, I can't fault him for doing this stuff. Yeah, and there we get him there. I got the pilot snipe apparently, but the wing probably went off first. Probably my ally shot off the wing, got the kill, and then I pilot sniped him. At least that's what I think. Let me know if you think something else happened there. So we are above here, above this whole playground. Lots of enemies. Lots of choices. I decide to go for the Hurricane, who is fighting with the I-16 there. Or maybe the BF-109. No, after all I decide to go for the Hurricane first. And there he goes. I take it back into the vertical immediately. Check my rear. There were a lot of planes there, but all of a sudden it's a lot less planes. that's close by. Or maybe they moved a little bit to the back there, flying after one of my allies. That ally died though, so that whole bunch of planes there is coming this way. Looks like there's 4 or 5 of them on low altitude and 4 or 5 of them on higher altitude. That's why I decided to go a little bit to the left here. I don't want to fly into that as the second plane, you know. I want to wait until my allies group up here and then go in together. I'm not suicidal. Now here comes our friend Auto Developer again, this time in a G4M1. Now let's get him out of the equation as well. We are winning this battle on tickets at the moment, so I don't want him flying around too long. There he goes again, up and down, up and down. Focke-Wulf 190 with all its firepower behind him hasn't shut him down yet. This is just a very difficult target. Even for me, you know, I consider myself a pretty good shot, but better than average. But here he presents his whole profile. I decide to take the aim. I do get a few hits in, but a few sparkles as well. I decide not to hang behind him and take it into the vertical immediately. Try to get a profile on him again. And there he goes. Up and down doesn't matter when you identify the line he's flying at. So you really want to look at that with these kinds of maneuvers. I also see a Firefly there. He could do something about our tickets as well, so I want to remove him before I take a left and go into the furball. Now he can continue his turn there, so this is a very easy shot for me. Now, and there's a victory. I couldn't get into the furball anymore, but 11 kills, survivor. Nice match. Particularly that little sequence of 3 kills, I love that, when people just fly into you. 1, 2, 3, you know. Survivor, Terror of the Sky. 1 kill short of Hero of the Sky. First of the team. Okay guys, I'll see you in the conclusion. Hey everyone, so here we are, after the match. Now those matches were very enjoyable. Looking at this plane, of course, after the whole history I explained, you know, the battle rating is kind of low. If you compare it to historical accuracy, you know. This La-5 sits at 3.3 battle rating. And the plane it faced most of the time, the G model, was is at 5.0. So they were both introduced at the same time. One plane is at 5.0, the other is at 3.3. But like you will recognize early on, is historical accuracy is often not the case. And of course they have to balance. This is a game, it's not reality, and they have to balance it in a certain way. Now they are balancing it on player performance in it. Whether I agree with that or not is, you know, completely beside the point and also completely useless, because my opinion on that, it really, you know, the way I look at it is like this. If I start to worry about and care about the historical accuracy, I'm gonna get burned out. You know, if you look at the forums, if you look at Reddit, if you see the guys who are caring a lot about this stuff, they get heated and heated and heated more, and they get so angry they leave the game. Now I'm a history teacher. I studied history in the past, and well, I don't teach anymore, but that's beside the point. But I care a lot about history, and I know when most of these planes flew, but but it's pointless to care about it. Really, I mean, is this a game? And they will balance it the way they want it. And I like this game. I love the flying, and it's the best game out there for flying. Let's be real. For the kind of flying I do. I'm not a simulator pilot. I enjoy the arcade and the RB side of this game, and there's nothing else out there that comes close. So I have decided very early on, actually, and to throw my history. My love for history out of the window and just play this game for what it is. And when I look at that, you know, this game is very enjoyable that way. You know, I haven't looked at anything. I don't care about the grind. I don't even look at the next plane. I just click it, research that next, and whatever amount of time later it comes up, I just play whatever I like, whatever I feel like, whether it's tier 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. I don't care about the grind. I don't do the grind, and I don't worry too much about where Gaijin is taking it. I enjoy what I have right now, and that's what's keeping me sane. I'm still enjoying this game like day one, and that's all I really care about, actually, to be honest. My enjoyment, my personal enjoyment. That's what I play games for my personal entertainment. And this approach to War Thunder is what keeps the game fresh for me. I don't know how you guys do it. I invite you to leave how you do it, how you look at this in the comments, and we can discuss it there. As to this plane in the game, as you see with the battle rating is quite nice for its performance, so you could call it a little under-tiered. Decent climb turn. The climb rate is good. Functions really well between 3,000-5,000 meters, and below even better. You know, armor, a little bit protection for the pilot. Fuel tanks here, well, you know, pretty good, not too big. Armament is fantastic. The shVAK cannons are maybe the best cannon, arguably, in the game. It would compete with the German 151 cannon, but 20mm cannon, but yeah, perfect plane, very much an enjoyable plane. So yeah, so let me know what you think about my view on the game and on the historical accuracy. I'd love to discuss that with you guys, see what you guys think. But yeah, I'll keep it fun for myself this way, not caring too much, you know. Because if I would care too much, I would, yeah, no, not a good idea. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like the video, leave me a comment, and if you want to see more, subscribe. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.